Hi everyone, it is Fitz with your Power Talk Monday edition post press conference. Chris Klieman and five players came in to discuss Saturday's loss, 35-34 loss at Baylor, and look ahead to TCU. And as I mentioned in yesterday's, or this morning's, I guess, I taped it yesterday, long daily delivery, I don't know quite what to say anymore about the game. And for the first time in a while, I was caught off guard. I was left speechless twice in a press conference. One was a quote from Chris Klieman that I thought was fantastic about leadership and taking accountability, and that, he's going to take the bullets for his coaching staff because he's right. He's the coach of the coaches. The coaches, the assistant coaches, are then the coach of the players. So if his coaches make mistakes, he's going to stand up for them. I do the same thing. If my employees make mistakes, I will publicly have their back, and I'll privately discuss what different things I would want. I never air those in public. You have to make me pretty mad. And honestly, if I was Chris Klieman, I'd be mad, but he's not. And so I kind of disagree with him on that. We're just going to have to agree to disagree that the clock, or at least the lead, was poorly managed down the stretch by Matt Wells' play calling. The interception came on a play that shouldn't probably have been run. Putting the ball in peril down the middle of the field when you've got a lead doesn't make sense. And of course, then there's two passes in a row that burned almost nothing off the clock. And, they swear that the second down play was going to work. And you look at the replay and yeah, there's an open receiver. It's just Avery Johnson didn't have any time. You see, the defense was playing football too, and they were ready for that play, and they came on a full-out blitz that, honestly, John Pastore kind of whiffed on the block. So I get that. They were confident in that play. It's worked often. It's a little bend back where the tight end just goes against the flow and heads out to the open space in the end zone, and I get why they called it, but the problem is it guaranteed to work? If your running play doesn't work, if you don't pick up enough yardage for a touchdown, or you end up short of that, the clock either runs or they have to use one of their timeouts. And you do it again on the next down. And if you still don't get in, well, they have to do it again. They have to either stop the clock with the timeout or let the clock run. Either way, it changes the very context of their next possession. Even if you kick the field goal, if you score a touchdown, it naturally changes a lot. But if you kick the field goal, you're up by 2. Exactly what happened, but with less time or no timeouts. And that changes how you make the play. He thought there was plenty of time for them to score. Maybe he's exactly right. Baylor can get up and down the field pretty quickly. And they did it on a prior possession. Okay, I'll set that aside then. I think we all know where I stand on that. But the one that really left me speechless, literally knowing what the follow-up question needed to be, but I couldn't get it out without an F-bomb. I literally froze on it because that's inappropriate. It's not professional. Chris Klieman admitted that the 56-yard attempt for a field goal from Luis Rodriguez was outside of his range, and he was doing it into the wind. They knew he couldn't make it, and yet they kicked it. It got blocked because he tried to drive it, and it only got about 6 feet off the ground as it passed the line of scrimmage, and it was easily blocked. The proper question is, so why did you kick it? But my brain wanted to put an F-bomb in the middle of that. Why the blank did you kick it? I can't make heads or tails out of it. They even called a timeout to discuss it. And the decision was to do what was basically impossible. Run the Hail Mary. Run a fake. He said they expected them to come. They expected them to bring everyone to try to block that field goal, and they did. Seems like it's been a pretty good time to run a fake. I find myself second-guessing coaching this season more than I ever have. I don't like doing it. They're the coaches. They know what to do, I think. You literally ran a play to win the game that you knew would almost certainly fail, barring a miracle kick. But it's TCU week. And this is a very winnable game. I think TCU is a very talented team. Josh Hoover is an incredible quarterback, another really good one for Kansas State to take on. And I think these Wildcats, the players at least, are getting better. The coaches, maybe not, but the players are getting better. And I think now I will pick them to beat TCU in all likelihood. I'll worry about that later in the week. They have their backs against the wall, frankly. And Chris Klieman even brought up the challenge of this remaining schedule is unbelievable. Get an off week and go to KU. And then you come down the stretch with games with Tech and Utah, and Colorado's even playing better. And of course, you got Oklahoma State, which should be a win. You have to win almost all of those. At least only one more loss, two more losses. You're out of ammo here. You're down to fighting for your survival, hand-to-hand combat. And I know a lot of you are like, well, if they go 6-6, that's a pretty empty bowl game. But you're missing something here. It will give the players who plan to be back a little more practice time. And I'm going to be honest. I'm getting a lot of questions about, will this guy transfer? Do you think this guy will transfer? Will this guy transfer? Yeah, I think there will be transfers, maybe more than Kansas State's had in the past. Is that a bad thing? I know you don't want your best players to go, but if they are the best players, they're also freeing up a lot of NIL budget for other players. Get into the portal and go get some guys. I think the key here for Kansas State when they go into the portal is not only assess the talent of a player, you certainly want to make sure they can play for you, but as I mentioned in a VIP piece last week, I'd really like them to focus a lot on guys like Quay Moss that are coming up a level or two that have shown they can play, because then they're going to be very passionate about playing at this level. And he has been. Reggie Stubblefield was too. You can go through the list. There's a lot of guys that got the opportunity to play Big 12 football, made the most of it. But beyond that, they're going to have to judge the character. And I don't mean like, is he a criminal? But how does he prepare for games? Is he a leader who goes out there and plays with an attitude? Because I need attitude. I need conviction to win. I want guys that are smacking people. Gunnar Maldonado stepped into that. Quay Moss stepped into that. And true freshman Logan Bartley at safety, and all three safeties, has done that. We'll see what they've got against TCU. Again, I probably will pick them to win, but not feel good about it. We'll see 2:30 on Saturday. Who shows up? And if the coaches actually do their job as best they can, because this team needs it.